More than a half century after the civil rights movement of the 1960s, lawmakers in deep red Mississippi are moving forward with legislation that critics are calling, quote, plantation politics. A white supermajority in the Mississippi House passed legislation that would empower state officials to create a separate court system and expanded police force within the city of Jackson, one of the blackest cities in the country. Joining me now, Jarvis Dortch, Executive Director of the ACLU of Mississippi. Mr. Dortch, thank you very much for coming to the Sunday Show. First of all, please explain to our viewers what House Bill 1020 would do.
Sure, and thank you all for having me. House Bill 1020 is a piece of legislation that creates a city within a city in Jackson. It takes an existing district, which was passed about 5 years ago, to add infrastructure funding around the Capitol, around state-owned buildings. It expands that district to include much of Northeast Jackson, which is the wealthiest part of the city, the part of the city with the highest white population. It expands that and creates a new judicial system within that district, and also gives the Capitol Police Force power to enforce laws within that district. With this judicial system, it also allows for white appointed officials to make appointments to new judges, prosecutors. All of these will be appointed by the Attorney General or the Chief Justice of the State Supreme Court, all of whom are white. And this is in a city that is over 80% black. So it would deprive black citizens in Jackson of their voting rights and take away their power to elect officials of their own choice. It would definitely create a city within a city where, Jackson residents are going to feel like second-class citizens.
So help me understand, because I'm still a little confused. So this separate police force and judicial system is going to be over the new part that's being added, I think you said the northeast part of Jackson, or will that new system have jurisdiction over the other parts of Jackson, the black part of Jackson? You got 80% African-American population there. So who will this police force and new court system impact?
Well, I mean, there are so many bills that are targeting Jackson. So there are some bills that are still alive now that would give this Capitol Police Force jurisdiction over the entire city. HB 1020 was a complete monster in itself. So this would target this area of the city that does have a higher property values. This is the wealthiest part of the city. And it's a region of the city that, folks, Republicans still have a lot of influence, and they don't have that influence in city government. And what they've decided to do is, we can't get our way in city government. We're going to use the state legislature to give us our power back.
I got it. Oh, good. Wow. No wonder Jackson Mayor Lumumba compared the legislation to apartheid. Real quickly, in the 30 seconds we have left, what kind of legal recourse do you have if House Bill 1020 actually does pass the Senate and becomes law?
Well, there are questions about whether or not this court system is legal under our state constitution. It's definitely something that we're looking at as far as a denial of voting rights for black citizens and under our federal constitution and the Voting Rights Act. So this is going to create long-term issues in the city. Anytime you put together a plan that disenfranchises folks, whether or not you thought it was going to be something that takes on crime or not, it is going to create long-term issues where people are going to be protesting, they're going to be marching. This is going to be detrimental to the city going forward if something like this goes into effect.